Yes, everyone. Welcome to our high frequency living live stream tonight, where we will be having a wonderful conversation about quantum light property clearing. Tonight, I welcome three special guests, Tarvars of the Sun, and Tiffany of the Sun, and Lauren of the Sun. Thank you so much for being here. It's going to be a really fun conversation. So before we get started, a few announcements. High Frequency Living offers live streams which focus on high frequency living lifestyle topics like energetic hygiene, meditation, breath work, wellness, nutrition, of the sun classes and modalities like quantum light property clearing and soul translation, light body movement. I am Diane of the Sun, owner of Inlakesh Studio One, a franchise of the Sun, and we offer quantum light property clearing services, truth and tea, call for the truth card readings, and other services and products. And check us out on Instagram, where I do a Frequency Friday. I do a call for the truth divination card reading every Friday and post it on Instagram. And today's was rather interesting. It was power. The power that makes solar systems, galaxies, universes, and beyond is the same power that animates our body systems. Don't be afraid to look inside. And I think that's so pertinent to our conversation tonight because of the power that we use when we're property clearing. So our next in Lakesh Studio One's Evolutionary Book Club will be next Friday, March 6th at 7 p.m. Eastern on this YouTube channel. And we will be discussing the book, The Golden Compass. So hope you can join us for that. And then on Sunday of the Sun has the ongoing light body movement, the first 4 Sundays of every month. So join us this Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern, where we will be diving into the heart chakra for the second time. And if you haven't joined us before, this membership is a great way to be introduced to and enhance your of the Sun practices, ideas, and modalities. And it's only $45 a month. And you have access to all 4 sessions, live and recorded. And there are many materials. There's like a textbook that's so helpful, and meditations and activations. And it's so important to be together. You get the benefit of the group energy when we're doing the meditations and activations. So you can register at ofthesun.com. And I also put a link in the description. And Tarvars will be teaching energetic protection and defense class in March. There's no prerequisite, but it'll be on Thursdays, March 12th, 19th, and 26th. And this is a prerequisite class for the next quantum light property clearing class, which will be held in April. So the link is in the description for that as well. And if you're interested in learning another one or your first soul translation modality, the next class will be in March on Tuesdays. And Lota will be teaching the modality of reclaiming your sovereignty with freedom release. And the only prerequisite for that class is sun calibration. And if you haven't taken that yet, it is offered as a recorded class, and you can reach out at contact@ofthesun.com for more information. And you can register at ofthesun.com for the soul translation class as well. And there's a link in the description too. And if you're looking for some assistance with sun calibration or other sun classes like quantum light property clearing or soul translation, you can reach out to Lauren of the Sun for a tutoring session. And that is also on ofthesun.com. And if you have any other questions about any class, you can reach out to contact@ofthesun.com. So that wraps up our announcements. And I invite you to join me in raising our vibration. Shall we call for the highest possible vibration? Shall we call for the highest possible vibration? Shall we call for the highest possible vibration? Shall we call forth aid and support from all that is? We are one with all that is. It is flowing through us now. We feel the universal life energy of all that is. Shall we call forth aid and support from all that is? We are one with all that is. It is flowing through us now. We feel the universal life energy of all that is. Shall we call forth aid and support from all that is? We are one with all that is. It is flowing through us now. We feel the universal life energy of all that is. Shall we call for the truth? Shall we call to see the truth in all things? Shall we call to hear the truth in all that we hear? Shall we have the courage to speak the truth? Shall we have nothing less than the truth come into our experiences? Okay. So once again, thank you for joining today, and thank you in the chat. Thank you, Cecilia and Stephanie Singletary and Diva 831. Thank you so much for being here. And thank you, Tarvars and Tiffany and Lauren. It's I know it's going to be a wonderful, wonderful conversation and enlightening for people. So, Tarvars, where would you like to start?
So first off, I want to say I am excited and enthusiastic. I am delighted to be here, and we have well-seasoned clearers who have been clearing for just under a decade, if not more. And so there's so much wealth of experience here, and of course the diversity, the nuance of why we were attracted to property clearing, how we utilize property clearing as well. So again, I think that there will be a wealth of information as well as expression. And so I'm so looking forward to it. We were discussing in the studio prior to going live of how back in the day we had something called Quantum Chronicles. And so it's, for some of you, you remember that, and Tiffany was on for some of them, and sharing these quantum light property clearing experiences. And here we are, and there's a little squad, so it's feeling good, and people are saying, I see more of this in the future, and so we're just elated. And essentially, we're here today to just have a genuine conversation about quantum light property clearing through the lens of the uniqueness of our experiences. And again, just see where it goes. So I'd like to open the floor with just some general understandings, especially for those who may be a little new, whether you're fresh or you've been around for a little while, understanding that quantum light property clearing is a modality that was brought forth under the umbrella of the sun via Laota. And of course, property clearing, it's ancient. It's been around since there were spaces. So this is a thing. And there are many variations and forms of clearing properties. However, this modality right here, it will take you places. And so one of the first things that I want to share about quantum light property clearing is just some foundational experiences that I've had, and then cycle into what I see quantum light property clearing can be in terms of humanity's engagement in a larger format. So I was living with family. This was over 10 years ago, living with family, and I was taking the classes with Laota. I was traveling from Miami to Fort Myers. So it's about a 2-hour drive to take as many classes as I could. But my first class, I really began to see my power, from the perspective of you can identify what's within a space. And I'm not just talking about negative thought forms and, dark energy, like, oh, you have some issues on your roof, sir. Look like there's a hole up there. I was able to do that from my first class. And it was something about the feedback from the outside world, and, them seeing me and me seeing myself through them in the circumstance. I wanted more. And along with this, there was this component of this accumulation of personal power. And so I continued through the pursuit. Long story short, clearly I liked it because I became an instructor of it. And here I am today. Quantum light property clearing is the way. That rhymed. So, quantum light property clearing, this is something that through my exploration in teaching this modality, I have seen that it's a solution to the world's problems that we face today, that we have faced for a long time. From the perspective of this modality gives you authority over your environment. And through quantum light property clearing, one of the things that I love about the other sun modality of clearing spaces and places is that we don't need science, but we got it. We got that alternative science to back up and support what we do in the unseen for those who may need it. But I like science, or at least alternative sciences, and I kind of needed it at my early stages. And so one of the things that resonated the most was the understanding of how our environments influence our biology. Not just biology, but psychologically, our environments influence us. So, it's likely people have experienced having an argument in one part of the home, and then you leave the space, and then you go back into the space, and you start picking up the same thoughts. You can't quite shake it. The energy is impressed there. And so, of course, imagine homes that have been in existence for 100 years, 50 years, 20 years, never been energetically cleared, but we are continuing through our behaviors to imprint the space, and the space will reinform us at every level, spiritually, energetically, mentally, emotionally, and physically. Uh, Looking at it from science, it really helped ground it for me. I learned that, and this is one of the teachings within the class. We reference the scientist. He's a biologist, Bruce Lipton. He talks about epigenetics and all those good things, and this is something that pretty much most people are familiar with. And how he did these experiments of how you take a cell out of one petri dish, because he was studying stem cells, and he would put it in another petri dish, and the environments were completely different. And he would observe the cell, and the cell would change based off of its environment. It would adapt, it would grow little arms and legs or do whatever it needed to survive. And of course, our biology is made up of trillions of cells. I was like, oh my gosh, what's going on with my environment? What's happening with my cells? So it really started grounding me. And but then I began to put the pieces together to see, oh my gosh, we can influence behavior for the better. Where, of course, souls have their own levels of accumulation and interference. But imagine a world where their homes, their spaces and places are not reinforming the same self sabotaging, self perpetuating type of behavior, especially for people who are looking to break negative habits, move into higher levels of evolution. Your environment is something that could be stopping you from doing that. And so quantum light property clearing really sheds light on this. And at the same time, this is what we're dealing with in terms of anti-life on our planet, or dark forces, how we refer to, our environments are inundated with low-level frequencies, thought forms, um, uh, fields within fields that do not support life. It does not support evolution. We, of course, were born into these fields. We perpetuate them. We didn't come in with an instruction manual. We over here learning as we go. But look at us. We're doing pretty good, right? There's still room for growth. However, my point is that this is a solution to that. This is a solution to the way in which dark forces or anti-life keeps us stuck within these perpetual loop cycles. So I can go on and on about this, but I'm going to pull back. But this is one of the perspectives that I think that people who want to have more authority over the field may find value if you're working on yourself and realizing that you are one with everything, that what's outside of you is you. So you're working on developing yourself to become greater. But then, you know, you start realizing, oh, I'm my space, I'm my vehicle, I'm my business, I am the all. I'm one with it. That's part of my responsibility. And I can do something about it and raise to fill up and raise and actually heal people. We can facilitate healing through this modality. So again, I'm a little turned up. I'm gonna stay turned up, but I'm gonna stop talking. So how's this landing? I don't know who wants to jump in because it's a little informal, but yeah, Tiffany.
So this is landing incredibly. Pardon my voice. I might have to take a sip. I'm clearing too, just like I'm clearing the properties. So uh as you were saying that how much we have the authority not over just ourselves, but our environment, the field around us. 2 houses down from me, there was a for sale sign up. And I thought, oh, yeah, I'm going to clear this house. We're going to get the right people in the neighborhood. We're going to have some super kind kids for my child to play with. And so I started to clear the house. And then something happened. I can't even remember now what happened, but I had to stop the clearing. Never went back to it. A few days later, someone's walking down the street and they're like, hey, what are you doing here? All rude attitude, all mean, this dog barking up the storm. I'm like, oh gosh, can I help you? They're like, yeah, we just bought the house in the corner. And in my mind, I'm like, oh my gosh, I cleared it enough to sell it. I didn't clear it enough for the right people to come. I never finished the clearing.
Mm.
So the lady leaves, rudely walks away. I'm running inside, realizing that I could inform my environment differently. And I sat down to clear this place and to remove. Now, most people would be like, she already bought the house. The for sale sign was down. She said it was hers. Well, I know differently. So I clear the house and I'm bringing forth the energy that we want in the neighborhood: kindness and love and friendly animals and friendly children and kind people, people who might be open to property clearing, all the things. And would you believe the next day, I can't even say this without laughing. The next day, the for sale sign was back up. Like, no joke, the for sale sign was back up. So the for sale sign stayed up for about another week. And then my daughter and I were out front, and this lovely couple, these 2 sweet dogs walk by. They're like, hi, how are you? And we're chatting them up. And I'm literally in my mind thinking, now this is what I'm talking about. And they're like, how do you like the neighborhood? We're like, oh, we love it. And they said, we put an offer in on the house in the corner. So they end up buying the house. The husband is a realtor who needs property clearing. I clear for realtors as well as, all sorts of people. And the wife is trying to get pregnant. She has all these questions about how I got pregnant. I'm able to talk to her about getting the frequency of being pregnant. But this is all just to show we absolutely can influence our field. And property clearing is that solution, because that was the only way that house that was for sale on the corner was able to get sold super quickly. That was the only way that sale was able to be reversed and the right frequency was able to be brought in. And I can't tell you how many experiences similar to this I have had with bringing the right frequency in. The second the sign goes up, it goes down, the right people come in. And so I have literally thousands of things I want to share. But as you talked about informing the field, it was the first thing that came to my mind. So I wanted to bring that forward.
Yeah, I feel like that's landing, and there are so many different talking points and avenues we can go. We're definitely going to have more of these. Like, come on now. First off, I'm just going to lightly touch on some of the things you were saying. The idea of using quantum light property clearing to push forward the sale of a property. Now, that's something that's known out there, but this process, it's so sure shot, but also like the nuance of knowing percentages, the effectiveness, the likelihood of it being sold. But to get more to the specific point, this is dominion over your environment. It's like, I only want what supports life. I only want what will benefit and support the environment for me, my children, and children being your animals, because your animals are kind of like children too. And, my neighbors, because they are you, so it's such a powerful story. And again, I could go on and on, but I can feel Lauren. I can feel like, ooh, ready to double dutch and jump in there. What do you have to
Oh
add to
my
the pot,
goodness.
Lauren?
Oh my goodness. This is all resonating. I'm thinking of many different experiences, but something that comes to mind, one of the very first things we learn in property clearing is that the space is the person and the person's the space. And so to have that understanding, especially thinking back to being a new clearer years ago, that was something transformative for me. And I had to think about that. I'm like, man, everything I think, everything I do, everything I emote, it's all here. And that perspective helped me shift and go inside to understand that the solution, while we have this modality to help us, not only is it helping free the space, it's freeing us if we allow that to be so. And so that is a very important aspect. That was something I needed to learn and have taken with me into all of my clearings. And now every time I clear, I have this understanding and this knowingness that when I go into any clearing, that clearing is just as much for me as it is for all of humanity, for the earth plane, for my other self, for me, for my neighbor, for all that is, for the trees, for the plants, for the flowers, for the animals. This is for all of life. And so there's a message, and that's the other thing that we're taught in property clearing, and really all the work of the sun is to communicate. When we're going into a clearing, we're having a conversation. We are literally opening up the field of intelligence of all of creation to understand, to get clear, not only to clear and lift and remove interferences and low vibrations within the earth, within ourselves, but to gain that clarity and that information moving forward. So those are some of those aspects that have maintained, and I take those with me in a day-to-day experience as I'm just navigating, even if I'm not in a property clearing. So this practical application of what property clearing is and that's understanding is a way of life. And we take that with us everywhere we go. And that's another quote in Maxim of Laota's: may every place you step your foot be sacred space. And to know that, how many times do we just get so busy and we keep moving and we're going about our days and we got lots going on, right? To bring that into the forefront of our minds and to know that that is the truth helps set us up for success. And that's exactly what property clearing has done for me. Knowing that it's a solution to transform and transmute an experience into something greater, it also helps me recognize that this is me and that I can take that with me everywhere that I go.
Some major keys right there. You had something on that, Tiffany?
It was, I feel like Lauren just spoke to the exact experience I had yesterday. I mean, this is how it goes, right? I clear my home daily, and I clear my child's school daily, and I, clear for clients as well. And the more I clear, the more I get cleared. And so lately I've been doing these clearings, and I've been getting cleared deeper and deeper and deeper. So much so that my environment has constantly been informing me, has constantly been reflecting me, even when I haven't been aware to it sometimes. And so yesterday I was lying down, and my dog literally jumped up on the bed the second I lied down, and she pulled the blankets off me. And I'm like, oh, go, come on, go away. I'll be with you in a moment. I'm taking 10 minutes. And she was insistent. And I'm like, okay, she must really need to go to the bathroom. So I take her outside to go to the bathroom. Now, mind you, rewind a few, maybe hour. I was sitting outside at the beehive, and I was asking the bees to clear me and to heal me and to continue to, work through me. And I was noticing, gosh, the hive looks like, maybe I need to get in it really soon. And oh my gosh, the apiary really looks overgrown. And so that was a conversation earlier that morning. The dog pulls me outside, at the very moment that the beehive is swarming. Thousands and thousands and thousands of bees in this orchestra all around me, humming, buzzing. And typically, I immediately am like, okay, follow them. Where are they going? Catch the swarm. But I knew that the dog had gotten me out of bed to go stand in that swarm for the clearing, for the healing. And so I just stood there and I thanked the bees. I thanked my dog. I immersed myself in this power of their buzz, of them swarming all around me. And then I went and sat where I was sitting before. Now, I've been clearing properties for 9 years. I've been working with bees for 15 years, and I've never had either of these two experiences at the same time. I sat where I was sitting before. The hive swarm landed right above my head in a cluster in this arbor, the easiest spot I could possibly catch them. But then I look at them and I think, gosh, it's a little tricky because the arbor and the plants, like it might be a little hard to navigate. No sooner did the thought come into my head that the bee swarm broke apart again, swarmed around me, cleared me again, then went underneath the other hive that they were in and just clustered and stayed there. And so I looked at them and I looked at the apiary and I realized that all of this was a metaphor for my life. And all of this was a reflection of what was in front of me. And that the apiary weeds are essentially what I had been allowing to go on in my life. And so I started weeding the apiary. And I weeded it and I sweat and I weeded it and I further got cleared and I weeded the apiary. And then I put a new beehive right next to the hive before. Easily, with straight up ease and grace. I've never had it happen like this. Just swoop the little swarm, put them in the new beehive, and there were 2 hives. It was, I mean, I can feel the energy of the clearing as I'm saying all of these words. It was today probably one of the top 5 most magical experiences I've ever had. And I know that I had it because not only am I connected to the bees, but because I am clearing daily and I am getting cleared daily and everything in my house is getting cleared daily. My animals getting cleared, the energy around my child and my husband are getting cleared. And so we move in this space that is clear. And so all the cobwebs, all the interference patterns that might in the past have gotten in the way of me understanding the communication with my dog and understanding what the bees were doing to me. You know, it shifts because of the clearing and clearing properties at this level. So thank you. Oh, thank you for letting me experience that again. That was so good.
That's so jam-packed.
Mhm.
I don't even know where to start because you're touching deeply on what Lauren was sharing, but such a unique facet. And one of the things that was coming to mind was that, like the process that leads up to quantum light property clearing. One of the modalities is one mind reconnection, and this idea of connecting with the field of one mind, which leads into being open and receptive to the communication with other life forms, such as the bees or even your animals. You know, and so it's just amazing what opens up, what opportunities open up through this modality. And I'm sure you did not think that your connection with the bees would expand through property clearing, at least in this way. You know, so rather unique. And again, another point, and this is specifically what you were saying in response to Lauren, we are the clearing. When we clear, we are cleared. And when Lauren was saying that, I was like, oh my gosh, that was the thing I wanted to say. Yes, Lauren, that's what I'm talking about. Yes, because that is something so powerful. And in recent times, I had this moment when I was reflecting and just really assessing life and thinking to myself, oh my gosh, quantum light property clearing is outside of fasting, right? Because I love to fast, but quantum light property clearing is the modality that will pop me into higher elevation almost instantaneously. The kickback of what you gain from doing such, in many cases, a selfless act, because all of us as practitioners, we are clearing more than our own homes. we're clearing neighborhoods. Some people are clearing zip codes. Some people, clearing schools, etc. The gym, the yoga studio, wherever we're going, the grocery store, not only for ourselves, but so everybody wins. It's such a beautiful thing. But again, the kickback of the power and the lift into elevation is something that I have not been able to find anywhere else. And I've been out in these energetic streaks. I've been, prying my nose in the other areas, and this is where it's at. So again, this idea of you are the clearing. I can go on and on. I want to make sure we stay balanced. stay balanced. I'm just so excited. This is something that's just so fresh and raw, and also an indicator of where things are going this year, being on the line with you all. So I'm passing the mic and the baton. Anyone else want to jump in?
Well, yeah, Diane, go ahead.
In the Kitchen Veritas, I'd just like to make a few comments. I think it's so awesome that from the beginning when I started, things have really changed a lot. And my understanding has changed so much so that I've had a lot of those experiences too. I also clear every day. And I notice if for some reason I don't, for something, I was like, oh, I think I need to do that, because it really makes a difference for me physically and energetically, as well as, what's going on in the neighborhood. And you talked about the neighborhood, Tiffany, and I've been at my house now for 2.5 years. And I have noticed I clear my street every day. And I have noticed people, either houses for sale or they're cleaning up, they're redoing, and they're keeping their houses in much nicer shape than they were before, and their lawns, and you can see the physical effects of that. And it is so awesome to see, because I know that I'm helping everyone else have a wonderful experience. It's not just so that I see something good, that doesn't matter. It's that they're having a better experience, So that part really resonated with me, about also the truth sets us up for success, you said, Tarvars. And that is so correct, because when we see something, and I know this has been for me sometimes, where I've seen something, I've asked for the truth, but oh, maybe I don't want to know that, but I see that if I don't get the truth, then I'm not successful. And when I listen to the truth, it is success. It's always success. And it's been helping also for just as you talked about, humanity and different things that happen around the neighborhood. We're not just our own self, the stores that we go to.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a big difference when I clear a store that I'm going to, the grocery store, and then when I don't, I might not have the best experience. Not that it would be awful, but if I clear it, there's usually happy people there. And I get in line right away, and they always have everything I need, and I mean, there's so many things. So thank you for bringing those forward in La Question Veritas.
Cash, and they probably open registers for you too, where you don't have to stand. Oh man, we're open. Like, yes.
And the food benefits. I mean, the food is probably like dancing in the aisles, and it benefits when you put it in your body. All the things.
Yeah, there's so many points that Diane made. I'll keep it brief, but at the deeper core, who are we in relation to the planet? And quantum light property clearing teaches us that. There's a couple of words, as you were speaking, I was just typing a few descriptive terms: stewards of the planet, caretakers, custodians, guardians, and so we have been placed here to be keepers of the land, so to say. And we have kind of released the responsibility of that. And look what has happened, where this rolls into what you were saying, Diane, of why you even clear your path or clear the store itself. Everyone on the line knows what it's like going out there. Humanity is operating at varying levels of depression. and that's broadcasting. Those cashiers, those store clerks, the people on the sales floor, they did not want to do that. They did not dream of that. And so that's broadcasting, the disgruntledness, all of that is in there. And of course, unless a quantum light property clearer comes along or someone who has the wherewithal to address the space, that will remain there. And so this is something that it's a callback to, I think Lauren said it and Tiffany, I think both of you said it, but it's a lifestyle. It becomes when it actually helps you understand the true nature of reality. Would you all agree? Like you're seeing life
Absolutely.
differently. Anyone had any thoughts on that to expand on it?
Absolutely. I mean, just even that statement in and of itself, I can see and feel the shift and change if I'm not in that mode. If for some reason my lifestyle has shifted, everything shifts. But I know through clearing and the modality, I know how to shift it back. And so that's such a beautiful thing, is that the opportunity exists always, in all ways, for us to make that shift and that change. And it helps us see ourselves at a deeper level. You're like, oh, okay, that's showing up. Gotta go deeper. Oh, okay, thank you. And then moving into that state of gratitude so that I can do something about it. So it absolutely resonates at that level. And Tiffany, I wanted to share, as you started speaking about your dog, because everything's so real in the field. My dog came running up right next to me and started jumping. And I'm sitting on my property clearing mat and she's just jumping, and now she's laying right under my feet on the mat. And so it's a wonderful thing to know that our experience is a shared experience in many different facets and capacities. And I love the idea that that is what quantum light property clearing is this idea of quantum. It is not just linear. It reaches out in so many different ways. And whether that is through our property, through our life experiences we were talking about, through conversations with people, what the universe gives back to us, everything's frequency. So where are we resonating at? And that is where I have found success in quantum light property clearing, is lifting the frequency for the space and the place, but also for me and as a parent. And that is something that I really wanted to speak about, is my experience and the power of what it means to have a property clearing, but specifically associated with being a parent. Because children they enter into this world new, in this new experience, this new life, the purity and this innocence, and then they enter into a space and place of whatever it is that we've been existing in, that we have been creating. And so they get to become a part of that. And so we all carry stuff with us from every experience, every walk of life, generationally through the lineage, but also everywhere that we go. We're navigating our self on a daily basis through a soup of many different frequencies. And that all comes back into our space. So with property clearing, to be able to clear a space and understand and see in the physical reality what that does for your child. I have a daughter who's 11 years old. I know you all know her as Olivia, but for those out there listening, she has grown up the last 10 years of her life in a clean and clear environment. And that has set her up for success as she is now navigating all of her experiences to have the clarity to see things in truth, to see herself. And there are lessons and there are experiences, and that is natural by design in our human experience, but she knows where to go and she knows how to have the appropriate thinking and clearing techniques within herself to be able to shift her energy. And that's because of the environment that she's in. And clearing our spaces and places also does so much for our physical bodies. And that was something you were talking about, Tarvars, is the body vessel. I mean, I can count on my hand how many times she's had a sick visit. I think it's 2. She's 11 years old. And that's amazing to me, because that's the truth of the work. You live in a frequency that's elevated. And so that is reciprocated in your body, in your thoughts, in your actions. Clearing schools is a very big thing as a parent, to understand and recognize what is housed in a school. There are many thought forms, there are many experiences, there's fear, there's worry, there's anxiety, there's enslavement, there's suffering. And to be able to go into a school clearing and feel those frequencies, not only from the students, but from parents and faculty and community and all of the energies that are entering into that space, to have this as a solution to alleviate that, to lift it, and allow the universe to come in and clear that so that these souls can have an experience of light, is such a reward. And that's the gift of clearing. And then those children get an opportunity to do better, to experience a safe space. It can go on, and I know we can share so much more about this, but it saves lives. It really is life-changing. And I've had that experience within my own life in helping me see me. Quickly going back to that idea of parent, I did lexigram quantum light property clearing. We can talk about that later, but I get very excited about this. And for those that don't know what lexigramming is, it is literally taking a word or a phrase and rearranging the letters to create other poignant truths. And one of the words or the anagrams within quantum light property clearing is parent. And in my personal experience, how I learned about quantum light property clearing was through my parent. It was my mother. She became a clearer. She allowed herself to move into this greater understanding of truth and offered it to me. Are you interested? So I was like, okay. And so she showed me this truth, and that goes forward, and it has propelled me and brought me into more of who I was destined to be as a clearer. And clearer is even in my name. So it's all full circle, and there are no coincidences, as we've learned in life. It is who we are by design and in purpose to take action. Action is in quantum light property clearing. We can go on. I'm going to let everyone else chime in here because I'm feeling thoughts, but there's more to speak about with the lexigram too.
Yeah, it's real in the field. I know you got them loaded up in the chamber, Lauren. You're ready to. So we're definitely going to make sure we get to that, because it shows the truth holographically within it, right? And for anyone who's interested, Lauren, she does provide the lexigram service. You can lexigram your name, tell you all about yourself, and you love hearing about yourself. And so, for actually, matter of fact, some of the people who regularly join, they may be familiar with the term harvest man. And harvest man is within the lexigram of my name. You can find harvest man in my name. So we're always talking about what I made and cooked, but yeah. And thank you for doing my lexigram, Lauren. So really quick, I'm going to speak on some of the things that you said, but I'll keep this brief. What you were touching on is such a sensitive topic, and I could feel the feel change, because you were talking about the most purest sacred aspect of humanity, which is our children. And they say, it's that term, we are a product of our environment. And when we think about the environments that we were raised in, inundated with the broadcast of negative motivators, levels of trauma and abuse, perpetual negative habits from our parents, and we just adopted through osmosis, never really having a chance for an alternative, right? And then of course we came in with some stuff, so there's that. But you said something that I don't know if it landed, but I wanted to reinforce it. It saves lives. It literally does. And it's multifaceted for the practitioner, for the people within the space. I have literally seen people move as a byproduct of clearing the space to help separate from abusive partners, to help push it along, or you alluded to, whenever you have a drop, you can bring yourself up enough to where you can start clearing properties, and it'll pop you into elevation. I'm telling you, I know something about that. When you do some clearing will get you right, because that quantum light, might have to coin that. It's kind of like what Lao Tzu says, to get right light. But really, it's the point about the children, and how, again, this is another solution. Anti-life is after the minds of our children. So clearing cell phones, clearing the environments, these things are needed. And again, there's just so many things you spoke on, to even the idea of the immune system and how that's associated with high frequency. I can go on and on. I feel like I need to make more notes for our future topics because there are so many avenues that were brought up that could be explored. I'm jumping out of the, what is it called? Double Dutch? I'm jumping out. Who wants to jump in? I'm just kind of leaving it open.
I'll jump in. So of course, parent is in quantum light property clearing. I mean because we treat the properties and the property of the entire planet as a parent with that kind of love when we're clearing, right? And I actually became a quantum light property clearer when I was pregnant. So she learned with me as I was, I came to of the sun and even got to learn about property clearing to get pregnant, to learn about being in the frequency and what it means to be in the frequency. And then Tarvars cleared our home, and then I learned about clearing, and then, moved into that space. And I clear her school daily. And yes, and yes, and ditto to every single thing that you said, Lauren. And we have that experience constantly, day in and day out. And because my daughter is 8 years old, and because Jade has grown up in utero with quantum light property clearing, she understands, not because she goes through the actual work with me, but because she sees the benefit and the outcome of it. And she knows that we don't go anywhere until I clear the space. She knows that we have a birthday party in 2 days, and that I'll be clearing the birthday party, the entire park, and all the things. And before we get there, it's how we move through everything. And she's seen the experience of not clearing and who shows up, and the experience of clearing and what doesn't show up. And so the sickness is one of them. It time and time again, when a space is cleared before a class, before a party, we get texts right before, like, we can't be there because we're sick. We can't be there. Someone's having a fit. We can't be there, X, Y, and Z. And then when it's cleared, it just rolls out, and everyone's able to show up who's meant to show up. And so I have found that clearing before, it becomes this kind of fun game for us. Like, who's in the right frequency to be there? I'm going to clear the space. Who's able to join today? Or I'm going to clear, we're having a class. Oh, who's text? Oh, thought they might text today. Okay, we need to help them get back up there. And so it's a massive solution to just about anything and everything, I feel.
This is, again, so many good points, but the ideas of having sovereignty over your space, having sovereignty over the land, the structure, the outcomes. And, it's a little loose because it's going to be a surprise, but that whoever is there will be at the appropriate pitch to match the energetic signature of the space that's been brought up to elevate everybody who goes in. In layman's word, everybody's thinking happy thoughts. There isn't any aggression type energy, and if it is, it's probably going to stay outside because the field is such an attractor for it. And, there's so much that we could talk about because my mind's going into the mechanics of it as well. But I want to say this one last thing. The idea of quantum light property clearing, I think Lauren mentioned it about quantum. It's literally that we are working with what is at the smallest aspects of our reality and shifting that to inform the larger. So we're working with particles and molecules. So all of this is remote, and I'm sure you all clear. Again, you're not showing up at anybody's house to do this. You're not going into the school saying, "Hey, I'm here to clean and rectify." But so it's a powerful thing, and just kind of keeping that into perspective of what's the nature of what's really being addressed. So this is, again, some very deep stuff here. I want to chime in just to double check on Diane, see if she has any thoughts before we maybe go to Lauren, because Lauren's loaded up in the chamber. She's got those lexicograms ready for us. All right. You've been given the cue, Lauren.
Woohoo! Woo! Oh, this is so exciting. Okay, so I have a few different aspects of this. And there are so many, and there's more to come, but for sake of time, I'm gonna do the abridged version, and then we can bring this forward in another session. But I wanted to share some of the anagrams, because the anagrams also give us some perspective in the knowingness, because there's so much power in the words. So these are all words that are created from the letters rearranged within quantum light property clearing. So some of the first ones are acre, home, and that's what we're clearing, right? Action. Quantum light property clearing is an energetic action. Alert, alerting. It informs us on many levels. Align, to come together. Anthropic, concerning the existence of human life, especially theories on the universe. Archangel Uriel. Oh my goodness.
I got a
Archangel
story.
Uriel.
I'm not gonna share it yet. I'm gonna wait, but
Oh no, I can feel you all.
yeah. Like, oh.
If you can see right behind Tiffany, the glowing Archangel Uriel, woo! There it is. Archangel Uriel has come forward to assist us in all of our clearings, and it is literally spelled out within quantum light property clearing. Also angel and angelic. Army. We have an army, oh angels, that are working with us. We also embody that army as clearers on the earth plane. Earth plane is in quantum light property clearing. Atomic, clearing at the atom, the atomic level. Tarvars was talking about that with quantum. Clean and clear. Compute and computing. Very interesting there, because this is the literal understanding. We are calibrators. And so as we are in the energy of the clearing, we are calibrating to the second, third decimal point the accuracy of the effectiveness of this clearing. And that goes into two other words, numeric and equation. Those are in quantum light property clearing. Congruity. The state of being in harmony, agreement, or conformity, signifying that things fit together appropriately. It implies consistency and suitability in ideas and actions. We talk about congruency in a lot of the work of the sun. That also helps maintain the integrity of the clearing when we are congruent. Cranium. I really liked this one for a few reasons. Cranium, it's the skull, right? So we think of the skull houses the brain. If we look at quantum light property clearing, we can look at the cranium, right? The shell or the foundation, the wood, the structure is literally the cranium of the interior of the home. So there's many carryovers if we look at the physical body and the property. This goes back to the understanding that the space is the person, the person's the space. There's a few more similarities that come forward like that, but that one was really neat. Creation. All that is. Mantle. We talked about the earth core, the earth mantle. We are literally going into the core of the earth and the mantle, the physical aspects of the earth to clear and release it, what does not serve it. Air, earth, rain, helio, which is representation of fire. We got air, earth, water, fire. We got all the elements, because that's what quantum light property clearing is. It is the elements. The elements are coming forward as allies to assist us in the aspects of clearing in order to understand, as they are in purpose to clear, it helps us. Egypt and Egyptian. As far as I thought of you on this one, because I was thinking of those. And you just brought forward so many highlights and understandings in the book club when we were discussing the Emerald Tablets. But and you may jump in on this one, because I know you got something to say, but Thoth is so integral. So of course, Egypt and Egyptian understandings are present when we're clearing. Equality, harmonic, harmony, heal, healing. Heliogram. That is literally a message transmitted by the rays of the sun. We are of the sun. Laota says we are per suns. So the message that we have as per suns and in essence, the sun, are informing and communicating in clearing. Hero. Heroic. Humane. Humanity. We are in service to humanity when we are in clearing. Lymphatic. Okay, so I have to read the definition on this one because I got really excited. This is again talking about the body vessel. The lymphatic system acts as the body's sanitation and defense network. Crucial for the maintenance of fluid balance, immune function, and waste management. It releases excess fluids, filters toxins, and transports white blood cells to fight infection. That sounds like QLPC to me. In every way. The space is the person is the space. We are sanitizing with light to re-inform the property, the space, the vessel with truth to maintain levels of elevation. So lymphatic, that's in quantum light property clearing. Magnetic, morphic, Mother Earth, nature, parent, pathogen, we are clearing pathogens, the germs, the infection, the dis-ease that are settling energetically, spiritually, physically. Precaution, chi, qi, life force energy. Yin, yang. Reality, triumph. Tiffany, you spoke about this. Realty. I can go on.
I'm mind blown, but please continue. I'm over here trying to
I have
contain
to stop
myself.
there. The last
Smirking
one
all
was
over the place.
Tao. I did have Tao, and that understanding is the ultimate principle of the universe. And here we are learning the ultimate principles of the universe in a universal modality to clean and clear ourselves and all that is. I mean, this can go on. The excitement, the enthusiasm, euphoric. I found over 500 words, and I can't share all of them today, but there will be more. And so those are the anagrams. And if we have time, I can share a few lexicograms. But I wanted to get your thoughts before we go into that.
Right.
Tarvars, I feel
I'm
him.
still look. So for those who are tuning in, this is all fresh to me. This is lexigram is Lauren's lane. So I'm hearing this like, what? I've been taking notes. I got it all here.
I
It's
literally
just-
felt all of you when I was in the space and the energy of this. I could see all of you. This is the understanding that this is a shared space. This is the quantum energy. And this is just one part of it. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but I got excited.
All good, all good. All right. I have maybe 2 or 3 that jumped out. And I was mentioning earlier while you were speaking, Archangel Uriel. I want to give a little context to those who are tuning in. So, brief little story. So, Laota, once upon a time, she was clearing souls and souls everywhere, clearing souls, healing people. And then at some point, she realized that she needed help. You know, she's clearing property. She's like, it dawned on her that this is a big mission. Help. She started asking guidance, help. And who came forward was Archangel Uriel. And so an agreement, a contract was made for Archangel Uriel to lead the clearing campaign of quantum light property clearing. So again, to further build on the context here, what Ever Sun is doing is, or our presence on the earth plane, our mission is to clean and clear the earth plane, to teach people how to not only adopt this as a lifestyle, but again, much of what everyone on the line alluded to was, you're doing this for the we, the field. You're doing this for humanity. You're doing this for your children, our children, right? Et cetera, the animals, all the different forms of consciousness. And so this is who's leading the way. And of course, the Archangel Uriel insignia is smack dab in the middle of the quantum light property clearing insignia. And this is who we work with. And again, there's just so much beauty within this. That was one of the things that jumped out. Another thing that I'm in awe, morphic is in there. Like morphic fields. I'm like, oh my gosh. What else jumped out? Congruity. You gotta be congruent in order to effectively collapse these interferences, because in some cases we bump up against heavy duty things and we have to be above it. You can't fake the funk. I don't know if you've heard that phrase before, but you gotta come with it and be at the right pitch. And so it's so fascinating to see that there. What's the last one? I'm just gonna call one more. I'm gonna say lymphatic, because I've been working on getting lymphatic drainage soon. Matter of fact, because I have yet to schedule my appointment, I got my little machine gun or massage gun. Like, let me hit the nodes. But when you said it, I lit up again, probably like the 7th or 8th time, because that is the process. We are removing the waste from the space. Such a beautiful thing. So I'm going to fall back. Who wants to jump into the double Dutch?
That is what I have experienced with this week, that the deeper and deeper and deeper I cleared, the deeper I physically cleared. Like the deeper I cleared the properties, the deeper my physical body cleared. And the drainage, it was so necessary. And I have literally been propelled to another level, as Lotus says, broken through the membrane at a different level. And the lymphatic system had to be cleared to get there, which is interesting. You think you can clear the space and clear the space and clear your way there, but the physical, as things are moving and releasing from you, they move and release from you. Like literally, we are physical beings. And so it's been fascinating to see that, to have that experience of the lymphatic through the quantum light property clearing, and have that be almost like the last stage before the next leap, and then you clear and clear and clear, you keep going up, and then you have more congestion, and then it needs to go through again. So that was just.
May I elaborate on that just briefly? Because I know you got a little something, but you hopped on the line saying, look, I'm releasing you all, heads up. It's a thing. It's a thing. I've realized that humans, we don't quite have the full context of how inundated we are. So when we do deep levels of work, especially if we're on that path for a long time, and whether we're outsourcing through a practitioner or doing something in and of ourselves, there will be that I'm going to say like a kind of like a plateau, so to say, or a moment that you have to let go of. Or let me just say, you have to make space for the light. You got to make space for the light. We are too congested. It's no different than the toxins within the lymph that they have to release so things can flow. There is congestion in our field. And when you were saying the idea of what the light does, it's like, yes, quantum light. When we do this process, this call back to what Lauren was saying. If you need a pick-me-up, clear a property. Go pick a random property, ask your guidance, and go clear it and watch what happens. Your entire being is filled and flooded with light, removing interferences, so it's a win-win for all parties, and imagining continuing that type of behavior where one can be in terms of their overall sense of clarity, and how that's translated and how we communicate, how we perceive reality, see ourselves, so it's, again, these are the things that are arising within me when I hear that from you, Tiffany.
Well, it's interesting because that I literally would see the light pushing out the darkness, not only in the space. We are the space. And I remember years ago, Tarvars, you and I had this conversation that when you're clearing negative interference patterns in a space, when you're clearing sadness from a space, when you're clearing anger, frustration, whatever, you need to see it in you to release it from the space, but it releases from you as it releases from the space. And so as I did these clearings, I could feel literally darkness being pulled from me, and then it came out of me, and now it's the the work way back up. I couldn't talk yesterday. And when the bees healed me, I literally, my throat opened up in a different way because I so wanted to make sure I could communicate today.
Oh my gosh. All right. I have so many thoughts racing. I will just simply say what you're articulating, even though quantum light property clearing is an advanced modality, there's some prerequisites. And I like to, at some point when we're ending, maybe rounding up announcements, share with people what's required to take the class, tell them about maybe your website, so we all can, if anybody wants a clearing, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 clearers here. So I'm just saying, take your pick. So the idea of how clearing properties and spaces and places, it puts you in this position where, let me pull the thought back. Excuse me. Even though it's an advanced technique, it's mirroring this principle of how you have to confront what's within you, and like to break down the walls of separation. When you were speaking, I was thinking about, because we talk about it often in the podcast, especially as of recently, there's a lot of things happening with our government and things coming to the surface, and people are shell shocked, like, oh my gosh, I didn't know that this was reality. And there's a level of separation happening, or disassociation. That's not me, that's them. Or I didn't vote for this, you voted for this. This wouldn't have never happened if you would have voted for this person. It's like, no, you're missing the point and missing the plot here. And so your experience with quantum light property clearing is the evolution of humanity. It's like, look, that's me. Let me release this in me. And we're going to pivot. And if I do it in me, I know it will release within the field. And again, that seeing no separation within it. And people can have this at a scaled down version too. We're teaching this through in Lakesh, oneness, truth. It's essentially the concept, but just amplified within what you were expounding on with quantum light property clearing.
And I also, if I can just say this, it's not only the clearer that gets cleared, even though we are not clearing the people in this space, because this space gets cleared, because a new information is informing the space and a higher vibration is informing the space and pushing out all of the darkness that's in people sometimes doesn't find its way back into the space. I mean, I've cleared properties where all of a sudden now people have sleep numbers that are measured at 30%. And now they're up to like 98% and they're actually sleeping at night. I cleared a property one time where I cleared a ton of abandonment from the property. And the husband was at work when I was clearing, and he had to leave work and throw up and then went back to work and was fine. Come to find out, as I gave the report, that the husband had just been communicating to his wife about the abandonment that he had felt from his father growing up. And it showed up that day in the clearing. And as I cleared it from the space, it cleared from him. I mean, we've seen the same thing happen with addictions. We clear addiction from the space. The person who's in the space doing the addictive behavior, all of a sudden, end up needing to detox in some way, shape, or form. So I just wanted to bring that forward. Everyone wins. The walls win, the trees win, the bees win, we win, the people, everyone wins. The children win.
I am containing myself, just raising up, calling forth balance, while sustaining my excitement. Because again, just so many gems. Lauren said earlier, quantum light property clearing saves lives. It does. And again, understanding that it has the capacity to impact the biology of the person. When you were sharing the example, one of the things that I saw, I'm using the analogy, consider you're in a space and there's music playing, and maybe there's music that's low vibrational. You don't want to hear it, right? And it's informing the field. We know, emoto and all that stuff about where water and frequency, and it's literally that same thing. Like I could see it, and this is what I meant by the mechanics. Once we start doing quantum light property clearing, a lot of these concepts that we get it intellectually, but property clearing, you experience it. You see it in yourself. You see it in your clients. You see it in your neighbors. Even if you didn't talk to them about clearing, you're like, oh my gosh, look at the effects of the clearing. So it is so real in the field. I want to pivot back to Lauren. I know you had some full lexigrams that you wanted to share with us.
I do. I have a whole page here, so I don't know if we can get through all of these. Diane, are we okay on time to go a little long, or is that okay? Okay, good. Okay, so to share with those of you that may not know, with lexigrams, they do not need to follow grammar, like English grammar. So just so you have that awareness when you listen. All right, so the first so the first one is one can learn to clear Mother Earth in an upright, heroical action to reach real healing.
True story.
Second that. Luminary light certainly change a place in quantum light property clearing. A leap of courage in the human equation, QLPC can greatly anchor and align one into more angelic light. QLPC capture and clear migrant, unearthly, alien implant in a home. This one made me chuckle. Peculiar thing go thump at night, get a QLPC home clearing.
Ghostbusters.
I don't know what that is. Ghostbusters, that's right.
Hey, that's the truth.
That's right. QLPC equal the cure to an enigma in your home. You don't know what's going on? Get a clearing. It'll tell you. Your moral core in a humane action to let go, oh, impure pathogen in you and your home. One to clear or clean up the earth plane in quantum light property clearing equal a helping heart, O humanity. An ethical and moral act to employ human action to other thing in nature. Replacing unclear acts equating comparing and competing to reach great change in a heart and a home. Archangel Uriel and an army o angel clear in group harmony. A heliogram o harmonic light can clear in a real QLPC hyperaction. An impact on our air and earth come to light in a clearing. The harmonic yin and yang on earth to clear impure human imprint on a place. I got just a handful more. A central magnetic morphic light to layer into your reality. Quantum light property clearing match harmonic equality to triumph in the glory, oh, euphoric light. Tarvars, I felt this one come forward. I felt you when this came forward, reason being with the light body and the MMSOs. Your light column can reach quantum layers in a clearing to heal you and the earth. Quantum light property clearing equal the hope, own nature, and Mother Earth. There's more, but this is the truth. The truth is in the name. And we have all of this experience collectively to share into this understanding. It really tells us all that it is. And two other anagrams that I did not share, but as you were speaking, Tiffany, in utero, we are working with the mother, and Lotus speaks of this, the mother. The earth is our mother. She provides life to all of us. It is appropriate for us to give honor and respect and to clear our home, our mother. And so she provides life for us in utero, is in quantum light property clearing. We grow with the earth. We grow as clearers. We grow in our evolutionary experience and purpose by clearing what no longer serves us and the earth. And another one was amnio. That's the fluid which is in the utero. It surrounds the fetus. So the fluid, the waters of life that are integral to the development of life. This is it goes on because there's always more, but I was so inspired today, and it actually, as a property clearer of almost 8 years, this helped inspire more understanding and truth and more excitement within me to want to go deeper. And so I am sharing that all with you.
Your inspiration is very palpable. And one of the things that I love so much about this, because of course, this was such a pleasant surprise to have both the anagrams and the lexicograms, but to see it literally mirrored what we were sharing.
Yes.
Pretty much holographically, so give ourselves a pat on the back. We're embodying quantum light property clearing. I'm just saying, truth is confirming the truth. But I think that this really gives those who are listening now live and anyone who listens in the future, and I would say a pretty good foundation. I'm sure we can build even more, but I think the authenticity of our experiences that are shared, because that's something that's very palpable, along with the relatability of it. Whether it's working with nature, working with our children, working to help our community, or being in support of the mother itself. These are all things that people on the path, they resonate with. These are all things that I think that many of us feel the call that we have to give some attention into these areas. And again, quantum light property clearing is, I almost want to say, beyond a solution, because I have these visuals of, you actually mentioned, I think it was a anagram, army, and you said angelic army. That's the truth. We rolling deep. And also the idea of a human army, militant, where we are protecting the planet. This is something Lauta, she shared with me some broad brushstrokes of this. And, for those who have taken the class, it's somewhat alluded within the quantum light property clearing textbook of what could potentially be. And it is so clear. Like, I can see where people bringing themselves to the right pitch and having the necessary inspiration to do something about what we're seeing on the planet. And imagine what that looks like, just addressing our locales all over the globe. So it don't take many, but an army of 12 plus, or I actually want more than that. In my mind, I see hundreds of clears. I see them all over the globe, just holding it down. And of course, teaching others at varying levels and degrees. Anyone else had any other thoughts on these powerful lexicograms?
Well, something inspired me from what you just shared is this idea, something Laota has shared many times with us. One of her quotes, if you do nothing, no thing can happen. And that is something I keep in the forefront of my mind, but especially with clearing, knowing that this is a solution, knowing that you can do something, you can change your experience, you can change your vibration, but you got to do something and take that action. And that's what this is. And that really can lead us into a completely different experience.
Yeah, well, certainly. So before we conclude, I know we got a couple of people in the chat. Let us know. I see a couple of property clearers in that chat. Probably not in the chat and probably just tuning in. Let us know if it resonated, what your thoughts are. But before we conclude, would you all like to share maybe your websites and a little bit about your clearing services, where they can find you? I'm just going to start calling out names. Lauren.
Okay, yes, absolutely. So multifaceted here, I guess it's quantum. You can reach me actually on the Of the Sun website, with modalities for lexigram services and ancestral work. And so you can find that by going to the website at ofthesun.com. And then also for me personally, I work with the floral realm. And so as a florist, regularly working with flowers and bringing forward meditations and clearing modalities within the healing energy of flowers. My website is www.elandrefloral.com, and I'll add it into the chat so that it's easy for people to access. But you may reach out to me there, and I'm happy to speak about property clearing, flowers, all that is. Just very excited to share in this space. So thank you. And thank you all for sharing in this with me. I've had so much fun.
Yeah.
And thank you, Lauta. This is epic. Epic.
You know she's watching, right?
It's another.
She
Oh.
was silently tuning in. Hey, Lauta. Hi.
Epic is in quantum light property clearing.
So Tiffany, where can they find you and your services and offerings?
So a couple different places, like Lauren. I'm still thinking about when you're saying hi, Lota. I want to be like, hi, Mom. I just
Yeah.
right. It's so funny. So I am honored to be a quantum light property clearing teacher, and so you can find me on the Of the Sun website under quantum light property clearing, and then if you click on classes, Tarvars' name is there, my name is there. And also my personal website, because I am all about the bees and teaching all things about bees, is bee-inspired.info. So like Lauren, I'll put it in the chat as well.
Yeah, wonderful. And Tiffany is our West Coast property clearer for
Yes,
people who need
yes.
those time zone adjustments.
Yes, and I clear, as we all do, for a lot of realtors. I have a lot of clients who will hire me to clear when they list a property, and then I'll clear it to speed the process up. Or if their property is not selling, they'll hire me to clear, and then it speeds this process up. But also, some realtors give quantum light property clearing as a gift to their clients after their home sells, which is super fun. So we all have that possibility. But if you're a realtor, that's a thought.
It's a great way to utilize the service. Tiffany is a really wonderful example of where you can take quantum light property clearing. You know, you can make a business of it, or you can just clear and protect you and your family, your community. You know, it's really what you want to do. But that's definitely an avenue. I'd love for us to come back and delve into the idea of clearing properties for sale, realtors, that whole realm, what that looks like, and have that type of dialogue. And I think many people will be interested. And I know we got stories for days.
I was
Stories for
literally
days.
just words out of my mouth. I was like, I have stories for days. You said I have stories for days.
Yes. And Diane, you have some thoughts about in Lakesh Studio One?
Oh, thank you so much. This was such a wonderful, wonderful conversation with everybody's experiences, and I love the lexicograms too. I love that, and I'm looking forward to seeing those words and the lexicograms. So thank you. But yes, I have In Lakesh Studio One, and that's inlakeshstudio1.com, and that's in the description. But I offer the quantum light property clearing services as well. And so if you're looking for that, you can reach out on the website. So thank you so much. All right. Thank you, everybody. This has been like, I don't want it to end, but we've already gone way over, but that's okay.
Diane, this felt like a semi-class / webinar, especially when Lauren came in with those lessons. I was like, yeah, you're teaching class right now.
Yeah.
I'm over here making notes like, okay.
Me too. I was making notes too.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
thank you.
Yes. Well, if you like, I'll go ahead and conclude it and wrap it up. Want to, again, just send my gratitude and appreciation to being in the space with you all. Honor, respect, and gratitude for the work that we do. May this inspire those who are listening to pursue this. If you're interested, the process for quantum light property clearing, and I'll keep this brief. It's several classes. We've shifted since all of us were working our way to becoming a practitioner. the process has changed from clearing services to classes. That way we can service more people, but also really to help fortify the souls so that they can tap into the appropriate level to effectively collapse these interferences. So energy hygiene 101 class to give you some foundational understandings, energetic protection and defense. There's also one mind reconnection, which we mentioned earlier, sun calibration, we mentioned that as well, so you can get your information. And that's a big thing because the foundation of all of our advanced classes requires you to be able to receive information from your body and or your guidance, which that's a whole another fun realm to be in. And so that's a prerequisite in DNA activation, which we just concluded on Thursday. We had a wonderful time there because once we start reconnecting those dormant strands, aspects of yourself that were dormant start popping out, and you start talking to bees and, doing all the things, right? So this process, these are the steps that lead up to quantum light property clearing. And we're looking to have this class in the month of April. You can visit the Of the Sun website for more details on this. We also encourage sign up to the Of the Sun newsletter. If you visit the Of the Sun website, go into the contact section and just put your info in there. We're going to be sending out an e-blast soon, especially for Lalta's upcoming soul translation class, Reclaim Your Sovereignty. And so again, for advanced classes, sun calibration, get that under your belt. You can join us. But we also look forward to seeing the ongoing learners, the students, to join us in this upcoming class. So these services are all on the homepage of the Of the Sun website. So feel free. And again, you have 4 options of clears available. If you're on the West Coast, you're good. If you're over there in Wisconsin, but you know what? It don't matter where you're at. You can be in Zimbabwe or Japan or in the UK. We got you. So if there are any final thoughts, Implication Veritas, with honor, respect, and gratitude, everyone. Have a buoyant evening.
Implication Veritas, honor, respect, and gratitude.
Thank you,
And
everyone.
respect and gratitude.